Today we've got 2 cocktails for the movie Oh Brother Where Art Thou, because who doesn't love a good Odyssey of the South?
Damn, we're in a tight spot.
Welcome to Boozy Movies, where watching movies and making cocktails is what we do.
Okay, I'm with you fellas.
Our first cocktail is a luxury when you're running from the law. It's a pomegranate champagne cocktail called Dapper Pom-aide.
I'm a Dapper Dan man.
Our second is a play on the swamp water punch using pineapple moonshine and Boozy cloister bitter. It is strong, it is herbal, it is citrusy, and it is for the Soggy boys.
Come on in, boys. The water is fine.
Oh Brother Where Art Thou follows 3 escaped convicts wandering through the Depression-era South and constantly finding themselves in tight spots. Along the way, they accidentally become folk music legends, are seduced by 3 sirens, and tangle with a one-eyed Bible salesman.
Well, we don't want fop, so let's make the Dapper Pom-aide.
You been using my hair treatment.
In a mixing glass, combine 1.5 ounces of pomegranate liqueur, 1 ounce Viking blood mead, and 1/2 ounce Pom grenadine. Add ice and stir until chilled. Strain into a chilled coupe glass. Top with champagne or a dry brut. Garnish with a mini comb and a little date cut to look like a toad. Here we have Dapper Pom-aide. Lots of inspiration from here, and it's easy. Pomade, so we went with pomegranate. The liqueur that we use is actually made with some tequila and vodka in it, so it's still a puncher. And then we put some Viking blood mead. That has some ginger, hibiscus, and then of course the honey mead. And then topped it with some champagne.
The champagne really helps pick it up, and I really like the Viking blood mead in there, because kind of having that ginger and hibiscus flavor really helps this drink out. The big thing here, the pomegranate liqueur is really tasty in this cocktail.
He ain't lying. Pomegranate is tangy, it's sweet. It really mixes well with especially that honey mead. I get a lot of the honey going on from all of that.
I heard about that.
You took a big delicious drink from that. Tell me what you think about the scenes that inspired us to make this.
Yeah, so Ulysses Everett McGill is very concerned about his hair. So he wears hairnets when he goes to bed, and then he goes into a convenience store, and he has a very specific type of pomade that he uses. He's a Dapper Dan man. But unfortunately, the store, they only have fop. And he gets a little frustrated because apparently it's gonna take 2 weeks.
Ain't this place a geographical oddity? 2 weeks from everywhere.
Other things that inspired us, of course, for this cocktail, Dapper Pomade and the demands of it is a real luxury when you're running from the law.
Yeah.
So is champagne. And eventually they get to this place where they get to drink champagne, order some steaks, some really nice things.
Once again, we find ourselves in agreement.
So at that luncheon, that's where they actually meet the Bible salesman, Cyclops, played by John Goodman. And then they go out into the field and they sort of relax and hang out. And that's where, unfortunately, the toad that they kind of think is Pete meets his demise.
Yes, and it's so heartbreaking for all of us, but most especially for Delmer.
Luckily, though, Pete was actually not turned into a toad, and the band gets back together. So we're gonna make some Soggy boys next.
But before we do that, we'd like to stop you for just one moment on this little bit of Odyssey and ask that if you go below, you can see in the description, we've got a website where you can find out the detailed information about these spirits, as well as the inspirations for the movie, along with all of the other movies that we've done, which we're coming up on 100 and something.
100.
100.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It feels like so much.
All right. Well, I am a man of constant sorrow, so let's go sing with the Soggy boys.
These here are the Soggy Bottom Boys out of Cottonellia, Mississippi.
In a blender, combine 1.5 ounces Boozy herbal liqueur, 1.5 ounces pineapple moonshine, 3 ounces of pineapple chunks from the moonshine, and 1 ounce of frozen fresh lime juice. Cover and blend until smooth. Pour into a rocks glass with pearl ice, and garnish with a lime wheel and mint bouquet. And here is the Soggy Bottom Boys. So there's a lot of versions of like a swamp water out there, but essentially it is pineapple and an herbal liqueur, both of which we have here. We thought it would be perfect to use the pineapple moonshine.
I like your style, young man.
Because it comes with the pineapple chunks. So blending those up, you kind of get a nice, thicker, frothier kind of flavor and texture to the drink.
Yeah.
And then that herbal liqueur in there is just like nice and green with the lime juice.
Yes, Boomsma Cloister Bitter is a delicious green herbal liqueur made by monks.
And maybe we should get us some.
And so it's a great replacement for green chartreuse. So that is why we use that. And the moonshine is, of course, the sirens decide to get the boys drunk.
Well, it was a powerful ale.
But that is sort of a turning point in the movie because that's where they wake up and they think that, Pete was turned into a toad.
I'm not sure that's Pete.
Of course it's Pete. Look at him.
One thing about this cocktail is that we're going for sort of backwater ideas, flavors, but also simplicity. This was super easy to make. I really liked using the frozen lime juice chunks because that's really kind of how we manage keeping fresh juice around here, is that we freeze them into little half-ounce cubes.
Makes it very easy for when you're making a cocktail and you're like, oh, I need a half-ounce of lime juice. Boom.
He's a suitor.
All right, so why don't you bring that other cocktail in? And I am going to talk more about Man of Constant Sorrow because it is such an iconic song. It's an older song. It's been done by so many people, including Bob Dylan. But Dan Tomisky is the artist that this version is from. And what happened is that it was supposed to be George Clooney. And he showed up to the recording studio. And George Clooney said, you know what? You do this, and I will just lip sync. And the result, Dan Tomisky is so grateful to George Clooney for this because he said, I would have just gotten paid for the studio session.
Right.
We hear that you pay good money to sing into a can.
Because of George Clooney's actions, I get paid royalties every time somebody watches this.
It's pretty great.
Which is amazing. Like
Yeah.
that could be almost like life-changing for somebody,
Yeah.
especially in a George Clooney movie. Like I'd be like, heck yes, let me do your voice, George Clooney.
Well, and look, I haven't heard George Clooney sing. I'm sure he could do an okay job with, shifting his pitch and mixing and mastering and all that stuff, but this guy nails it.
For that, you traded your everlasting soul?
And I think it's kind of fun just watching George Clooney lip sync along with it. The first time when they're in the recording studio doing it, he's hidden behind the microphone like the can.
Yeah.
But then the second time, like he's right out front and everything. And, he's dancing and doing all this fun stuff.
One thing to note with the voices is that Delmer, all of those
Tim
voices,
Nelson.
yep, he did all of the singing for his parts. I don't know about John Turturro,
That don't make no sense.
but honestly, he is so talented. It's so fun to watch him in this. It's kind of a different role than what I have seen him in previously. And it just,
Brain Donors, The Big Lebowski.
I think he's just so incredible. I'm a huge John Turturro fan.
He's bona fide.
So one of the bigger reasons we are doing this film is because it is based on the Odyssey, and the Odyssey is coming out.
The Odyssey, and it's got an incredible cast, directed by Christopher Nolan, entirely in IMAX. So it's going to be a movie of large proportions, as the Odyssey should be. Now, while I think Oh Brother Where Art Thou is a very good movie, and I do really enjoy it, I would say that the Odyssey and Oh Brother Where Art Thou are really, really far stretched from each other. There's a couple of things that kind of overlap.
You two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
At a very basic elementary level, you could say, yeah, sure, it is. Kind of like, Heart of Darkness and Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, I would say that some of the character simulations are a little bit close. So the man on the railroad that's blind, and he kind of predicts the future. There is a blind man that Odysseus comes across that tells him the future.
You will find a fortune. Though it will not be the fortune you seek.
There's also, the sirens that everybody talks about. There are sirens in the Odyssey.
Sure. Yep.
And then, of course,
John Goodman is a Cyclops.
yeah, he's got one eye. And he does kind of beat up the other guys, and he's a little bit bigger than them and everything. So.
Say so.
I flatter myself that such is the case.
And then at the very end, George Clooney's character, he is disguised as an old man. And that is something that happens in the Odyssey, where Odysseus is disguised as an old man in order to basically figure out the situation with his wife and all of these suitors, and then basically, kill them all.
There's a perfectly scientific explanation for what just happened.
So we have a couple of great movies coming up, and obviously great cocktails. We're going to be doing Midnight in Paris. We have a Spider-Man cocktail, and then also one of our favorite ingredients, Italicus. We're going to do an episode based around that.
Let us know down below, though, are you going to go see the new Odyssey? Are you going to go see it in theaters? And did you pre-buy the tickets?
We did not, but we probably should have.
I'm feeling like we should have.
We missed out. All right. Until next week, 2 more cocktails, 1 more great movie.
Cheers.
Cheers.